Namaste. Let's today examine a little bit the process of identification, where it comes from, and how we know if we are identified or not. I would like to have the approach or the point of view of compensations. And one of the greatest compensations that we do in our life is to cover our insecurities, our lack of self-esteem. That lack of inner value, it creates not only a fragility inside, but it creates a wanting to cover it up. And the best tool that we have to cover that up is through identification. And we identified in two ways. Either by putting yourself down, annulation, you say that in English, when you are just zero, you feel incapable of being yourself, incapable of dealing with things that throw life at you. Or you identified with pride, and that pride is seen when you are looking for the approval of others. You want and search for things to exalt yourself. You seek attention. So these two types of identifications coming from the low self-esteem not only create certain weakness in you, but also confuse you because you are not in your true identity. And in here you can see three types of weakness, three types of debility coming from that identification. The first one, we feel incapable of managing our potential. We don't use our resources at the max potential that we are able to it. We feel shy in front of recognizing that you have certain qualities, certain gifts, and that they are there for you to move and see what are your capabilities. The second type of debility is when you blame others, when you avoid the responsibility that you are the architect of your life and that you have complete power in changing things around and inside, right? Because behind every blame is a blind spot within that it says, no, I don't want to change. And the third one, which is one of the debilities that I found the more dangerous ones in the spiritual path or in any role that you take, is that you feel vulnerable in the swings of life. You feel that you cannot cope with your success or with your losing So either you seek for success and you get deviated, you get distracted because you need to pursue success, perfection, admiration. Or you feel that you're a loser, that you have not succeeded. So either way, there are distractions and are identifications that reflects low self-esteem. And this last one is the more dangerous one because it makes you malleable. Any circumstances, any opinions of others, any things that life throw at you naturally in the changes, the transitions, you feel overwhelmed. You feel you cannot cope with it. But all this sense of fragility, all these three sense of fragility, behind that is either you're putting yourself down or you're putting yourself up in pride or in victimism. But both are identification. And identification comes again as a coping mechanism to your low self-esteem. You don't want anybody to see it, that you're not capable or that you are just simply learning. So when we examine the self-value, what is self-value? Ask yourself that place of inquiry where you say, what is my self-value? And the self-value is in the activation. You only can see it when it's activated your gifts, when you recognize your gifts. We all have come here to give something and to receive something, to learn something. And your particular attributes are activated in, or being called to be activated in different circumstances, passages of your life. The more you denied and avoid your attributes, the more blind you are in seeing your potentials, in seeing your power. We are all good at something. And when we do that in action, you start touching your value. That is the external mirror of your own creation. It's the mirror of what is the creator in you. It's like a painter. When you paint and you look at the painting and you say how beautiful this painting is, who you really are praising? You are praising the one that created. In the same way, when you attribute as an action, you're able to see your own creator, your own creation. And that gives you force. It gives you energy. And we're born with very specific mandalas in terms of attributes. The attribute of connection or connecting others, uplifting others, the attribute of giving, the attribute of leadership, the attribute of communication, the attribute of diplomacy, the attribute of the peacemaker. So the To overcome that compensation of identification, just spot what is your attribute. Just one. And one each week. And when you have at the end of the month 4 attributes, trying to make an action that are based on those attributes. If you found, I am loving to talk, then do some action that activate that attribute. And when you activate that, you will see that more resources, more opportunities, more facets of that attribute start to unfold, start to show to you your capabilities. Now, the other part is, don't sell your value, because your value is priceless. So don't trade it. Meaning, don't give to others the responsibility that is meant for you to do. Don't trade yourself. Don't give your energy away. Don't chop your attribute and say, okay, I will do the beginning but not the end because I'm not good at the end. Like creating an art again. You do the painting, you frame the painting, you expose the painting, you share the painting. But you cannot say, I am only painting for me. Or you're not saying, I'm painting so I can look and for the approval of others and say, how good painter you are, right? Because that's part of the pride, part of the identification. So you cannot deny yourself from the completion of attributes, and you cannot exalt, otherwise you are in the loop of identification. And in that, the energy gets trapped, and the loop gets smaller, 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 until you get very, very tense. You get constricted. You feel that there is no place to go. So self-value, self-esteem need to be reviewed and connected with self-identification. And to see that when you feel that weakness inside, in whatever form, there is an identification, an act of compensation, and behind that is lower self-esteem. Sit, write down your attributes, put your own strategy of expression, even if it's for a month or a day, and repeat that over and over and over until you're solid in facing your own resources, your own potential, and the winds that naturally life will bring to you.